In 1994, a family bought a ranch in northeastern Utah. 500 acres. Cattle. A quiet place to work and raise their children. 18 months later, they abandoned it. They sold the ranch for a fraction of what a place that size should cost to a man who bought it for one reason: to study what was happening there, because the family had reported things that don't fit into any category we have. Lights that came out of the ground, animals that vanished in an instant, a wolf the size of a bull that walked up to their fence in broad daylight and did not flinch when it was shot. Over the next 30 years, scientists came to this ranch with equipment, with funding, even with the attention of the Pentagon. They brought cameras, sensors, every tool science had to measure what was happening there. And here is the strange part. The better their equipment got, the less they could prove. This is Skinwalker Ranch, and it is not a story about a monster. It's a story about a place that refuses to be measured. Let's start with the family. In 1994, Terry and Gwen Sherman bought a ranch in the Uinta Basin of northeastern Utah. For them, it was a dream. 512 acres. Good land for cattle, a place to build a life. But almost immediately, something felt wrong. On the day they moved in, they noticed their new neighbors had done something strange. Every door in the house had heavy deadbolts. The windows were fortified. There were chains and locks everywhere, as if the previous owners had been afraid of something, trying to get in. At first, the Shermans dismissed it. Then the thing started. Their cattle began to disappear. Not stolen, not killed by predators. Vanished. One was found later, with a perfect hole cut into it. The flesh removed with what looked like surgical precision, and no blood anywhere. Not a single drop on the ground. Others were found with their bodies mutilated in ways that made no sense. Cuts that no knife and no animal could explain. And then there were the lights. Terry Sherman reported seeing lights rising up out of the ground. Small orbs floating across his fields at night. He watched one disappear into the side of a hill. The family started sleeping in shifts. Someone always awake. Someone always watching. They lasted 18 months, and then they left. They sold a 500-acre ranch for $200,000, far below what it was worth. To a man who wasn't buying land at all, he was buying a laboratory. Cattle mutilations happen everywhere in America. Ranchers find dead animals in fields, sometimes with strange wounds, sometimes with organs missing. There are theories, predators, birds of prey, natural decomposition that looks stranger than it is. Most cases have prosaic explanations, but Skinwalker Ranch had more than a case. It had a pattern, under the Shermans and under every owner who came after. The pattern kept repeating. Cattle would go missing overnight. No tracks, no sign of struggle, nothing at all. Then a body would be found, sometimes hundreds of yards from where the animal had been, sometimes in the top of a tree, 15 feet off the ground. And the wounds. The wounds were always the same. Perfect circular cuts. The eyes cored out, the tongue removed at the base, reproductive organs cleanly excised, and no blood. Never any blood. Not on the animal, not on the ground. Ranchers know what a predator kill looks like. Chaos, torn flesh, blood everywhere. This was the opposite. It was surgical, it was clean, and it was quiet. The dogs were worse. Terry Sherman had 3 of them, working ranch dogs, the kind that follow you everywhere. One night they chased something into the field, barking wildly, and they never came back. The next morning, he found 3 circles of grease on the ground, in a line, in the direction they had run. Just grease, as if the dogs had been cooked from the inside out in an instant. Nothing else was left. You can dismiss lights in the sky. You can dismiss a wolf that didn't flinch when it was shot, but you cannot dismiss the physical remains of 3 dogs reduced to grease on the ground, because those were real, and the man who found them was not the kind of person who imagines things. Something on that ranch was killing his animals. He could not see it. He could not stop it. And it did not use teeth or claws. It used something else. The man who bought the ranch was named Robert Bigelow, a billionaire. Real estate, aerospace, and a lifelong obsession with the questions science refuses to touch. Bigelow didn't buy Skinwalker Ranch to live there. He bought it to study it. He created a team, the National Institute for Discovery Science, NIDS, real scientists, physicists, biologists, veterinarians, people with reputations to protect. And he gave them a simple mission: go to the ranch, set up equipment, and document, scientifically, whatever is happening there. This had never been done before. Usually these stories are just witnesses, people telling you what they saw, with nothing to back it up. But now, serious scientists, with serious instruments, were going to point their cameras at the unknown and finally capture it. That was the plan. They installed cameras across the property, motion detectors, radiation sensors, magnetic field monitors. They built an observation post, staffed around the clock. They were ready. And the ranch seemed to know it, because here is what the scientists reported. The phenomena would happen, constantly, right up until the moment. They tried to record it. A camera pointed at one field would capture nothing, while something happened in the field behind them. Equipment would fail at the exact moment it was needed. Batteries fully charged in the afternoon would be completely drained by nightfall. Cameras would malfunction, only the ones pointed at the activity. The scientists started to feel that whatever was on that ranch was aware of them, that it knew when it was being watched, and it did not want to be. This is the part of the story that separates Skinwalker Ranch from every other haunted place. Because normally, when science shows up, the mystery ends. You bring instruments, you measure, you explain. That's how it always works. Except here, the more they measured, the less they had. Let me give you specific examples. Researchers watched a large orb of light float across a field, in full view. They had a camera on it. When they reviewed the footage, the field was there. The trees were there. The orb was not. It had been visible to their eyes, but it did not appear on the recording. Another time, a device measured a massive spike in radiation in a specific spot. They marked the location, came back with better equipment. Nothing. No trace. As if it had never happened, investigators reported physical effects: sudden nausea, equipment malfunctions clustering around key events, recordings that came back corrupted, or blank, or filled with static exactly when something occurred. Think about what this means. If a place is haunted, and you prove it, that's a discovery. But if a place produces phenomena that vanish the moment you try to record them, what do you even do with that? You can't publish, "We saw something but have no evidence." That's not science. That's just a story. And that may be the most unsettling possibility of all. Not that the ranch is haunted, but that whatever is there understands exactly what proof is, and makes sure you never get any. A ghost you can film is a discovery. A ghost that knows how a camera works and defeats it every single time is something else entirely. Here is where the story stops being fringe. For years, Skinwalker Ranch was dismissed, tabloid material, something for late-night radio, not something serious people discussed. And then, the United States government got involved. In 2007, the Pentagon quietly funded a program, the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. Its official purpose was to investigate unidentified aerial phenomena, what most people call UFOs. But there was a lesser-known companion effort that went further. It was called AAWSAP, and a significant part of its work focused on one location, Skinwalker Ranch. Let that sink in. The same ranch a cattle family fled in the 90s, the same ranch a billionaire turned into a laboratory, was now being studied, with taxpayer money, by contractors working for the Department of Defense. Government investigators went to the ranch. They interviewed witnesses. They reviewed the years of NIDS data. They collected their own. And according to people involved, the phenomena followed them home. This is one of the strangest claims in the entire story. Investigators reported that after visiting the ranch, things began happening in their own houses, hundreds of miles away. Strange figures, unexplained events, effects on their families, as if whatever was on that ranch was not bound to the ranch at all, as if attention itself was the thing that attracted it. The government program was eventually wound down. Its findings remain partly classified to this day. But think about what we can confirm. We can confirm that the Pentagon spent real money studying this specific place. We can confirm that serious defense contractors took it seriously enough to write reports. You don't have to believe in anything supernatural to find that remarkable. The most powerful military on Earth looked at Skinwalker Ranch and did not walk away laughing. So let's step back. For 30 years, different people have gone to Skinwalker Ranch. A family, scientists, government investigators. Each of them came with the same goal: to find out what is really happening there. And each of them came away with the same result. Something is there, and it does not want to be documented. Now here is the honest part. Every individual claim from Skinwalker Ranch can be picked apart. Cattle mutilations, lights in the sky, equipment failures. Each one has a possible explanation, but the pattern is different. Because Skinwalker Ranch is the one place where more attention leads to less evidence. That is the opposite of how the physical world works. The more you point instruments at something real, the more data you get. Except here. And that is the real horror of this story. Not the wolf, not the lights, not the missing cattle. The horror is what it says about the limits of what we can know. Most of us live with a quiet assumption that reality can be measured. That if something exists, we can eventually prove it. Skinwalker Ranch pushes back against that assumption. If a place exists where the more we look, the less we see, then reality has a rule we did not know about. Some things know when you are watching. The Uinta Basin looks like an ordinary stretch of American desert. Red mesa, sagebrush, big empty sky. You could drive past it and never know. But when you point a camera at something that understands what a camera is for, you should not be surprised when the camera fails. You should be surprised that you thought it would work.